The body is like incredible. Like you can just build muscle over time and become
Have you had
stronger.
any injuries along the way?
I have. Yeah. I've actually been pretty lucky. I broke my nose a couple of months ago, but the nose it's not a weight bearing bone, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I slipped my disc in 2018? Yeah. So if you've been on my Instagram, I talk about it a little bit because it was a really defining moment of my career.
Yeah, right.
Basically I'd gone through a fight camp and I'd cut down to much lighter than I normally would. Well, it's only 3 kilos, but 3 kilos for me is quite a lot when I'm fighting quite lean already. So I got down to the fight weight and I fought at that fight weight, and I think it just depleted me. And off the back of that fight camp, I went straight into another one.
Oh, wow.
Again, depleted. And I was doing a simple squat and I slipped my disc. And at the time, I didn't know I slipped it. So, because there's variances with the severity of slip discs. And some people can have a slip disc and not know it. And then others can have a slip disc and not be able to walk. And I was sort of somewhere in between. And the fight that we had was super important. We had sponsors on board. We had this girl coming across from Queensland to Perth to be there. And so I took a couple of days off and I came back and kept training. I was like, this is not getting better. Like, there's something wrong here. And, there was points where I was like, I can't do this anymore. We decided to push on, and then the pain just kept persisting. So went and got an MRI, and, with back injuries, MRI doesn't really do much apart from tell you yes or no.
Yeah.
And it was a yes. Yes, you did slip your disc. Of course it was. And we were already 3 weeks out by that stage. So, we sort of had a look at the severity of it. And it wasn't probably going to get any worse as long as I followed the advice of the professionals. So we pushed on. And it's not to say that I didn't go through that fight camp in a lot of pain. Not so much excruciating pain, just constant pain. So things like clinching were pretty much I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Things like obviously lifting weights were really difficult.
Yeah.
I couldn't even really do a burpee. And I sort of just went into that fight thinking, okay, if I get through to the fight, then I've won at least. Like I've not won the fight, but I've overcome all of this. Anyway, so we got to weigh-in day and I missed weight by a stupid amount, over 1 kilo, which is something I've never done before. So that was really a hard pill to swallow, because I think of myself as a professional and I like to show up as a professional, and to show up and not make weight was just really embarrassing for me, even though all those things had happened. I tried to not make it an excuse, but so miss weight, and then come to fight day, we fought, and it was a good fight.
Yep.
I couldn't fight to the best of my abilities. I was probably 70% there as far as my capacity.
Okay.
I lost the fight by a split decision.
Oh.
And then, the next 6 months was basically just rehabbing my back to good health. Yeah, so I got a really good physio, the fight physio, Al Husk, and he helped me a lot getting it back to recovery. And then my next fight was actually an Australian title. And I was still rehabbing my back throughout that fight camp, but I was doing it, obviously it wasn't freshly injured, so it was a lot easier. And I won that fight. So,
wow, that's amazing how you had that injury for that camp. You didn't do clinching? Didn't do clinching. Did it make kicking hard as because you had to rotate?
Yeah.
And you were so heavily compromised, and then still to come out with a split decision. Did that fill you a little bit of confidence just to get through it and then kind of or did it kind of like, shit, if I didn't have this back, I could have actually won?
It's a hard question to answer, because yes, I thought, oh yeah, cool. I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, and that was simply getting to the ring. But at the same time, it sort of ate me inside that I could beat this girl, and now it's on record that she beat me. But I got that back.
Oh, you got it back?
Recently.
Oh, good.
Yeah, after 2 years of waiting, which actually worked. to my advantage because I came to that fight more ready than I've come to any fight. And it wasn't personal because, you know, it never is.
Yeah.
But I treated it like it was personal. And I wanted to prove to everyone that I could beat her, and I could beat her convincingly, and I did.
Being personal with yourself as well.
Yeah.
Like, this is against myself going into it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was just an amazing feeling.
I bet that would be amazing.
Yeah.
With your rehab from that back, was there anything different that you've never kind of seen before, like a training wise from a physio? Did you do anything? What was the main training exercise you had to do to get the back up?
Basically, it was just making sure that my glutes were strong.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was making sure that
hammies.
Yeah, everything around it was good enough to support it.
Did you do any reverse hyperextensions? Anything? Have you seen those before? That machine? Always looks like a GHD.
Is that the one where you back like that? So you lay flat and then you go back?
Oh, that's back extensions. No, other way. So you lie like flat on a bench and your legs are hanging off. So you look like a reverse L.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you've got a little harness that wraps around your feet.
Yeah.
And you kind of swing your legs up. So you're horizontal. Yeah. And then the weight pulls you back down. So what it does, it strengthens like your glutes, your hamstrings, and your back extensors.
Yeah.
But on the way down, it decompresses your spine. So if you have like a disc injury, it essentially like pulls your spine, so it creates space in between the discs. So it relieves the tension and the pressure off of your back. So like Louis Simmons, he created this exercise, this machine. He broke his back in multiple places as a power lifter.
Yep.
And he created this exercise and he's healed a lot of guys who do heavy weightlifting because there's a lot of load that goes through your spine, and a good way to kind of combat a lot of pressure is to relieve it through that decompression.
I remember at the chiro, he put me on one of those tables and it sort of like
decompresses.
Yeah. And my feet were strapped in.
Yeah.
Maybe something similar to that.
There's you can get certain benches that kind of you hook your ankles in and kind of you go down on a 45, so your head's facing down, your feet are up high, so that also decompresses.
I remember the chiro saying even if you just hang from like a bar, like a pull-up bar, that will help.
That's the same.
Well. Yeah, that was really good.
But obviously you're restricted by how much you can hold your body weight up. But
exactly.
Yeah, we've got a couple of our bigger boys who have some back issues just because they're bigger and they've just had generally. Well, like you said before, you can get a scan on your back, and most of us would have some sort of back injury, but we don't know about it. Some diagnosed, but we had a few guys who have to do some extra lower back work just to kind of keep on top because it's hard because footy, you get a lot of tackling and it's a lot of different directions, so your back takes a lot when you get hit in the ground.
Very dynamic, yeah. So
they do that, reverse hypers, anything to do. You do a lot of hip thrusters for your glutes, I guess, as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was unweighted.
Okay.
Which seemed to sort it out. A lot of like bird dog.
Yep, bird dogs. Yeah,
bird dogs. Yeah, I remember.
So a lot of core. I call a lot of core work as well.
Yeah,
stabilization.
Yeah, so I pretty much get up early in the morning and do all of that. Go straight to the gym. Go for a run and then do that sort of stuff before training as well. So there was different exercises that the physio gave me just to do before I started training to get everything fired up as well.
Does it affect you much now? Do you kind of have to stay on top of it a little bit?
Fine. I can finally say after probably, if you asked me a year ago, I probably would have said, it still affects me, but I haven't had pain in my back for a really long time.
Awesome. That's fantastic to hear.
Yeah. And look, I think the severity of it wasn't probably not as bad as what some people experience. It was just the fact that I was going through a fight camp with it that made it really bad.
Fight camp is emotional time because you have to